webinar will begin shortly. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly.
Hello, welcome to the webinar. Today's webinar, how to stop applying for jobs and get hired instantly. Hopefully you can see me up on your webcam. I wanted to welcome you personally to the webinar, how to stop applying for jobs and get hired instantly. I see a lot of you guys in the chat and I've tried to chat back, but as I go into the presentation, I'll have to pay attention. I can't do both things at once very well. So I'm going to close out my webcam and get started here. All right. Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I am Peggy McKee. I am a recruiter, a career coach, a published author with books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I'm also the CEO of Career Confidential. Through Career Confidential, we've helped more than 16,000 job seekers in 90 countries get hired by using our truly aggressive go-getter tips and tools that set them apart. Now, you can access our materials through Amazon.com, Audible.com, apps on iTunes and Google Play, our blog, our website, and free webinars like this one. Now today I'm going to share with you the very best information you'll ever hear about how to get a job. I'm going to show you how to stop wasting your time with those online applications that don't result in interviews and instead how to find employers who are excited to speak with you. Now, I advise that you close out everything but the webinar. Close your Facebook, turn off your Twitter, turn off your cell phone. Make sure you won't have any interruptions. Shut your door. We're going to cover a lot of ground here today. And I'm going to give you a ton of great information. It's going to make a big difference for you in your job search. I am going to teach and train you for almost an hour after that. I'll tell you how you can get some other training, and then we'll go into a live question and answer session, and I'll come back up on the webcam to answer those questions. At the end of the presentation, we will choose 10 lucky winners to receive a free 1-hour group coaching call with me. You just need to be on the webinar at the end of the presentation to be eligible to be in that drawing. You must be present to win, and we will notify you via email. Now let me talk to you about this webinar platform. Carl Chapman is my partner, and he is running the webinar platform. You'll see the chat is on the right-hand side. There's 3 tabs that are very important. The chat one, which I see Jim and Juana and a lot of other folks that are in there. Hello to you. Good afternoon. Then there's the polls tab. That's how I'm going to ask you questions. And I'm going to give you your free gifts through the pop-ins tab on the right-hand side. If you happen to hear more than one voice, you may have more than one instance of the webinar playing. So check your not your poll tabs, but your tabs, browser tabs, to be sure of that if you hear multiple voices. So let's get started. For your free gift just for attending this webinar, my e-report, this is very popular, how to write attention-getting cover letters. Now you can download this by going to the pop-ins tab right now. Carl has put it in there for you. Click on the download now button and you'll be able to open this up in another browser. You can come back and look to this after the webinar. And I want to ask you my first poll question. Okay, so we'll have to go to the polls tab for this one, right? Charity, I think we need to be on the polls question here. Do you have multiple interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks? 3 choices there. No, I do not have an interview scheduled in the next 4 weeks. No, I only have 1 interview scheduled. Or yes, I have more than 1 interview scheduled. You see, interviews are very, very important. In fact, they're the key leading indicator about your success and the fact of whether you're going to get a job offer or not. You got to have somewhere between 5 and 10 interviews to know that you're going to get an offer. And we see there are 3 reasons why people don't have the interviews that they need, and those are typically your cover letter isn't selling your resume, isn't making them want to read your resume. Your resume isn't strong enough. Many of you, your resume is not selling you, or you've been spending most of your time applying for jobs, filling out those online job applications, and that is not a good way to get an interview, so it doesn't work for you. All right, Carl, can you give us the results? What do the folks say? Do they have multiple interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks? So 68% do not have any interviews scheduled. 16% have 1 interview scheduled. 16% have more than 1 interview scheduled. So basically 84% of you do not have enough interviews scheduled in the next 4 weeks to know that you're going to get an offer. You've got to have multiple interviews scheduled to know that you're going to get an offer. 5 to 10 is typically what we see. If you have 5 interviews, 5 to 10 interviews with different companies, you know you're going to get an offer, and that's what I want for every one of you. In fact, I want you to get more than 1 offer. Now, most job seekers will think that you have to spend time on CareerBuilder and Monster.com or whatever other job board you're looking at, and you need to follow those directions and apply for those jobs and then wait for them to call. But this system, although it is established and you don't want to buck it because you're concerned they'll get mad at you and not want to hire you, I think we should be on to the next slide. But what you need to know is that this system is not working for you now. I know you know this is true because you've probably already filled out a lot of those applications, right? No phone calls, no offers for an interview, nothing. All that time and effort you spent typing in your information on the forms was wasted. What's actually happening is that the application you're spending so much time on you is killing your chance to get noticed and to get an interview. Albert Einstein said that the definition of insanity was to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. I don't want you to be insane. Why does applying for jobs not work? When you apply for a job, you're almost always applying online. What does that mean? Well, if you've seen the job, too many other people have seen it as well. You're getting lost in a sea of applications, and your application goes straight into a company database, so you don't even know that they'll see you. Human Resources is looking for a perfect candidate. If you're not perfect, they're not going to pass your information along. And then lastly, you're not in front of the hiring manager, so you're not actually in front of the person who can say yes and hire you. He's also the person who's most motivated to fill the position because he's probably having to cover the job somehow, some way, right? And he can see transferable skill sets, and he can say you're hired. So if you're in front of HR, if you're on these online applications, you're not in front of the hiring manager. Now, did you notice that not one of these reasons had anything to do with you, not about how well you do the job or what kind of an employee you are, but it's about the system that you've been operating in. So don't worry if you haven't had any success until today. All of you, this is going to be your lucky day, your lucky hour, because I'm going to show you how to turn this around. So again, 3 areas that you got to pay attention to get this done. 1, we need to have a resume that sells you, that markets you, that makes them want to call you. And then number 2, I need to show you how to get interviews and how many interviews you get. I want you to get many interviews, more than, like I said, I want you to have 5 to 10 interviews. And then you need to do really well in those interviews. So let's talk about these 3 areas. The vast majority of job seekers do not have a good resume. Recently had 250 people send me their resume. Of them, there were only 2 that didn't have a major problem on them that would have held that person back. So the resume is first and foremost a marketing document. It's what the employer sees first, and it's how they decide whether or not to give you a call for the interview. So it needs to market you, it needs to sell you for the job. You can't make things up, and you do have to list your previous jobs. But the key is in how you present that information. This is what will make the difference in whether this is an ineffective job history or an effective marketing document. 3 mistakes that I see on people's resumes are they don't have objective statements. They don't use bullet points. They've got big paragraphs. They don't quantify their accomplishments. Now, if you have one of these mistakes on your resume, we need to fix this today because it's stopping you from getting interviews. Now, objective statements. You will find folks who will tell you that to leave off an objective statement, but that advice will be wrong. You need an objective statement. It does hard work for you on your resume. First of all, you can't control who might see your resume. The objective statement makes sure that it gets to the right person. It also tells that person how you're going to make their life easier. It's also a great place to put keywords that will get your resume pulled up more often in searches. Oh, and a trick here is to use the same keyword that the company uses. So Lean and Six Sigma and continuous improvement can all mean about the same thing. You need to know how the company talks about it. And even if you don't have a keyword, you could use it in your objective statement by saying seeking a position as X, where X is the job title and the keyword that will get your resume pulled up in a search. Your objective statement needs to sell you for the job. It's like a headline or an elevator pitch. Here's a good example. Accounting management seeks a role to utilize her industry experience and leadership skills. Now, I set this up just like this so that you could see that you could change out accounting manager with your title, you could change out industry with your industry, you could change out leadership skills with your special skills, right? Your objective statement doesn't have to be like this one, but it will serve you well if it tells who you are, what you want, and highlights one or two of your selling points. The selling quality of a good objective statement is going to serve you so much better than a summary that talks about what you used to do, what you've done in the past. It summarizes you. It doesn't sell you. Now, the next thing that's killing your resume is these big, huge paragraphs. If you aren't using bullet points, people are not reading all of your resume. Bullet points actually make your resume more attractive. They provide white space. They draw your eye down the page, catches your attention. And those bite-sized pieces of information are faster and easier to read. Hiring managers are busy people. They're not going to read a big old paragraph, but they will read bite-sized bullet points. So make your resume easier to read. Catch their attention. This is important, right? You could have the winning lottery number buried in a big old paragraph. If they don't see it, they don't even know that they can win, right? So you could have something in that paragraph that would make them want to call you, but if they're not going to read it, they're not going to call you. So you got to put it in bullet points. Bullet points always communicate better than paragraphs do. Each job that you've had should have bullet points under the title that describe what you did in that job. So don't say responsible for X, Y, and Z. Bullet points should explain what you accomplished in that job, not what you were responsible for. You could have been responsible for a lot of things and not gotten any of those done. Say what you did and use powerful action words to describe it, like managed team, led campaign, organized project, improved efficiency, reduced turnover, won award. These are action words. They're powerful. This is an energetic way to sell yourself. Now, there's one more way to really make your resume pop and get you more interviews, and this is to quantify your accomplishments. What does quantification mean? I want you to describe your accomplishments in terms of numbers, dollars, or percentages. This is the #1 place where you can really make your resume stand out. It can make a world of difference in how your resume represents you and in how many interviews you get. Now, if you haven't thought about quantification, we've put together some ideas here to help you kick this off. You could talk about how many direct reports you had, or your production numbers, maybe your project budgets or schedules, turnover rate, how many projects you handled. And under that, you could insert anything. How many projects, how many machines, how many people, how many customers, how many whatever you handled, right? Success rates of those whatevers, cost of projects, accuracy, rankings. Rankings can be in customer service, production, sales, sales support, also in customer satisfaction. A lot of different ways that companies are now using rankings. Obviously, sales, revenue, customer numbers, procedures that improved anything. How did you affect those things in your role? Did you increase or decrease the numbers? Did you save time? Did you increase efficiency? What did you improve? What did you contribute? Any way that you contributed to revenue, growth, or profit for the company can be described using numbers, dollars, or percentages. Let me show you how powerful this is. I've got 3 different examples here, and I'm going to go ahead and ask Charity to put all 3 up because I think it's so powerful when you look at the left side versus the right side. I used to do them one at a time, but what I want you to look at here is, on the left is the responsible for. A lot of you probably have a lot of phrases on your resume that look like this on the left, but can you see how much more powerful it is when we add an action verb and numbers, dollars, and percentages there on the right? See, numbers like this are incredibly impressive to hiring managers. Numbers sell you. So let's go to our next poll. I want to know, if your resume grabbed the attention of the hiring manager, would you get more interviews? If your resume grabbed the attention of the hiring manager, would you get more interviews? Two choices here: yes, I would, or no, I would not. Click the one that's appropriate for you. Click the vote button. I'm going to go ahead and ask Carl to put in the pop-ins tab the link to my personal one-on-one coaching. That way, if you guys want, if you think after listening to some of this that you need someone to work with you one-on-one in where you're at in your job search or in your career, you can go to the pop-ins tab to learn more about that one-on-one coaching. Now, as a recruiter for more than 15 years, I have clients where the relationship is so strong that I can guarantee a candidate will get an interview. I don't even have to send the resume in. I can just say, look, I'm presenting you to XYZ company. I know they're going to interview you. What days work for you? Right? But before I do that, I always make my candidates go back, take off the big paragraphs, add the bullet points, and I make them add numbers, dollars, and percentages, even though I know I can get them a guaranteed interview. So why would I make them make that much? I mean, that's work, right? I make them go back and do some work. Why do I do that when I know I'm going to get them an interview? Isn't that all that we need? Why would I do that? Let's go look at the polls and see what you guys say about, if your resume grabbed the attention of the hiring manager, would you get more interviews? Yes or no? Let's see what your results are, Carl. 97% are saying yes, and you are right. This is how you get interviews, by grabbing their attention through the bullet points, the numbers, dollars, and percentages, and by selling yourself and helping them understand what you're interested in. So now I want to answer your question. The reason I make my candidates take off big paragraphs, add bullet points, and add numbers, dollars, and percentages is because I realize that when I send that resume in, that's going to bias the hiring manager in a positive way when they see that. They're going to read the resume because it's in bullet points. They're going to love the numbers, dollars, and percentages, and it's going to make them think of that candidate even more positively. They're going to perceive they have more value even before they get to the interview. So that's why I do that. Now, I want to show you one more example to help drive home this point of what the bullet points and the dollars and numbers and percentages can help you with. Here is candidate A. Okay, I'm about to show you candidate B, but A has numbers on their bullet points. That's the only difference, is the numbers, dollars, and percentages. Now let's go look at candidate B. No numbers, dollars, and percentages. If you were hiring and you saw these two candidates, which one would you hire? Which one would you interview? Without a question, it's going to be candidate A. It's going to be candidate A. You're going to prefer to interview them and then to hire them, and you may even expect to pay them more. And that's the way it plays out with hiring managers that I've worked with over 15 years. When you quantify your accomplishments, it helps set up a bias for you that helps you later in your job search. So this brings me to my third poll question that I want to ask you. Would you like specific training with resume templates that include all of the key elements that we've just discussed and much more, and my personal review of your resume to make sure that it is an interview magnet? You got three choices. Yes, I want a better resume that gets me more interviews. No, I can do it on my own and do not need the review. Or no, I'm getting all the interviews I need to get a job. Now, we review resumes from around the world. Our clients are obviously from the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Dubai, Nigeria, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, all over the world, more than 90 countries. If your resume isn't in English, you could get it translated and we could review that for you. But we review resumes from all over the world, and the job of the resume in every country is the same, and that is to get the interview or the conversation with the hiring manager. So, Carl, are you able to give us the results? What do they think about getting the specific training? Okay, 82% want a better resume that gets more interviews. 16% think they can do it on their own, and 2% are getting the interviews that they need now. So 82% would like to have that review, would like to know that that resume is selling them. I'm going to tell you how we can get that done here in just a moment. Before we do that, though, I need to talk to you about how to really get a lot of interviews, and that is get your resume in front of the hiring manager. Now, some of you are going to say, well, who's the hiring manager? This is a big question. Who would your hiring manager be? Now, this isn't difficult to figure out. I want you to think about the title of your previous boss or your present boss. your hiring manager's title is going to be the same or similar to your last boss, unless you're completely changing careers. So I've put together, I think, 7 different examples here. I'll go through those briefly with you to help kind of jog your thinking about who your hiring manager is. If you're in accounting, your hiring manager could be the director of accounting, the accounting manager, the CFO. If you're in sales, it could be a regional sales manager, a national sales manager, district sales manager, VP of sales and marketing. Marketing people might report to VP of marketing, might report to the CMO, the chief marketing officer, the director of marketing. If you're an associate, it might report to a senior product manager. Customer service typically reports to a customer service supervisor, may report to the VP of sales and marketing. Engineering, we see the director of engineering, or they report to the VP of R&D. Some engineers report to a specific division. Scientists can report to a principal investigator, or the VP of research and development, or the division manager. IT could report to, a CTO or a CIO, a director of IT, VP of technology, maybe the manager of a specific division. So stop for a moment and think about the title of your boss. What might his title be at another company? And it's very likely that the title of the hiring manager will be the same or similar to your last boss. This will make it easier to determine who the hiring manager is. If you don't get your resume to the hiring manager, you're not going to get results, which means if you spend a lot of time filling out the online applications and you don't hear back from them, you're going to start thinking, what's wrong with me? But see, nothing is wrong with you. Your problem is you aren't getting your resume to the right person, to the hiring manager. You're stuck in human resources. Now, you may think that human resources is supposed to find people for the hiring manager in an interview, and why aren't they passing your resume along? But remember, HR, or human resources, is looking for a perfect resume. Is yours perfect? Do you have exactly what they're looking for? The exact experience, exact words? Probably not. Could you do the job and do it well? If you can do the job well, but you don't exactly have what they're looking for, they're not going to help you. They will be an obstacle to you. HR is an obstacle for you to overcome. I want you to go straight to the hiring manager. When you get your resume to the hiring manager, you'll be getting your resume to the person who understands the position the very best and can see how skills can transfer. He or she also happens to be most motivated to fill the job because they're probably having to do the job right now, right? Human resources can't say yes, they can only say no. We don't need them as a gatekeeper. Let's skip them. So how do you find hiring managers to contact? Well, the answer is you need to research them. You can Google them. You can look for them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Jigsaw, Spoke, corporate websites. Ask your network, anywhere you can think of, to dig up the name and the email or the phone number of the hiring manager in your arena. It's not as easy as finding them on a job board, but you'll be a lot better off in the end. The key is to find those hiring managers who might be a potential boss for you, and then contact them whether or not they have a job posted. I hope you got that. It's completely irrelevant whether or not they have a job posting or a job opening on Monster or CareerBuilder or even their website. Why is it not relevant? Well, because at any given time, the majority of jobs are not posted for a lot of different reasons, right? But this is called the hidden job market. Now, it's estimated to be somewhere between 50 and 80% of all jobs. This means that at least twice as many jobs are available than you know of. By contacting hiring managers, you're going to put yourself in front of 100% of the jobs, and you'll be at the front of the line because other job seekers don't even know about these yet. So to crack the hidden job market, all you have to do is choose hiring managers who could be your boss and say, hey, here I am. This is what I do. This is what I could do for you. Are you interested? Let's go back one slide because I want to make sure I really hit this point very strongly on this hidden job market. See, now we Googled and looked to see what other folks were saying. Forbes is saying 80% of the jobs are not posted. AOL is saying 50% of the jobs, and LinkedIn is saying 70% of the jobs, right? I'm not sure which number is right. It doesn't matter. It's a bunch of them. The only way to get in front of them is to get in front of the hiring managers. So we can go forward now. This may seem bold and scary, but it's actually easier than it seems. And the truth is, there's no way for you to know about these hidden jobs unless you ask. And these jobs that you'll find are fantastic. And if you contact enough hiring managers, something even better is going to happen. You'll start winning the job search numbers game. What do I mean by that? Well, it is a numbers game. It works like this. If you contact 20 hiring managers, you'll hear back from 1 to 2 of them, 3 or 4 if you're lucky. Statistically, This is how it works. However, what this means is that if you contact 200 hiring managers, you're going to hear back from 10 to 20 of them. Don't you think it'd be better to be speaking to 20 hiring managers who are interested in you than just 2? These are the odds of finding a great job that fits you and you'll be happy with. And the more managers you contact, the more interviews you will get. Remember how we talked in the beginning, 84% of you don't have multiple interviews. The reason you don't have multiple interviews is because you're not contacting hiring managers with a winning resume. So, this brings me to my 4th poll question for you guys. If you contacted 100 plus hiring managers, would you have more interviews? Couple different choices here. It's not showing up. The poll is not showing up, Carl, or you're showing me a poll answer result here. Okay, here we go. If you contacted 100 plus hiring managers, would you have more interviews? 4 choices. Yes, I would, but I do not know how to find them. Yes, I would, but I do not know what to say to them. Yes, I would, or no, I would not. Click the one that you agree with most. Click the vote button. Again, this is anonymous, but Carl can give me the results in just a moment. I had a very aggressive coaching candidate who hired me to help him. And again, if you want to look into getting some personal one-on-one coaching, there is the link in the pop-ins tab. This individual is a very strong sales guy. He had been looking for a job for 4.5 months. He applied to 45 positions, had 5 face-to-face interviews, and only 1 offer, and it was mediocre. I asked him how many hiring managers he thought he was in front of, and he said probably 10. I asked him why 10, and he said, well, I had 5 face-to-face, so I know I had 5. I figure only another 5 managers saw me. I know with those online applications, you don't even get pulled up most of the time. So I asked him, I said, what would happen if we'd contacted 10 times or 20 times as many hiring managers? And he's like, well, that would have been easy. I'd have 10 times the conversations, 10 times the offers, 10 times the choices, right? And so that's exactly what I did. We worked one-on-one together via Skype and on the phone, and I showed him how and worked with him to coach more than 200 managers. Here's what he said. He said, I didn't even know you could do this. I didn't know how, and I can't believe this. What a difference. It changes everything. Okay, so that's how important contacting hiring managers directly is. Carl, can you share the results with us? What do the folks say? Do they think that if they contacted 100 plus hiring managers, they would have more interviews? Okay, so 33% are saying yes, but I don't know how to find them. 36% yes, but I don't know what to say to them. Another yes, I would. Only 2% of the folks on this webinar believe that if they contacted hiring managers, they wouldn't have more interviews. So every one of you knows what I'm saying, and that you can realize that if you were to contact these hiring managers, you'd have more interviews. And if you had more interviews, you'd have more offers. And if you had more offers, you'd be in a great job, and we'd be moving on, right? So this strategy of contacting hiring managers by the dozens or even hundreds is going to take you less time, and it's going to get you way more interviews than all of the days, weeks, and months that you have spent filling out those job applications. I've seen this happen over and over again for candidates in all kinds of career fields with all levels of experience in all parts of the world. If you doubt that this kind of effort is really worth it, then I want to ask you this question. What would happen if you were able to shave 1 month off your job search just by doing what I've showed you here? If you usually make $30,000 a year, you could put another check for $2,500 in your pocket by shaving 1 month off your job search. And if you typically make $60,000 a year and you take 4 weeks off your job search by implementing these strategies that I've shown you, you'll have an extra $5,000 in your bank account. And if you make $120,000 a year and you're able to shave 1 month or 4 weeks off of your job search, you'll put an additional 10 grand in your pocket for you and your family. So in reality, what happens in a typical job search is it'll take 6 to 9 months. But people who use this strategy that I've just shown you will get a job in a month or 2, or at most. So instead of just putting 1 month's pay in your pocket, let's put 2, 3, 4 times that amount of money in your pocket. Each one of you could put an additional $10,000 to $40,000 in your pocket by putting together and doing what I've told you here today. This kind of effort is worth you using every resource that you can put your hands on and doing whatever you need to do, even if it's uncomfortable, because this is the effort that you deserve to get the job that you need. Now, this brings us to the third piece of what I wanted to talk with you about today. We talked about that resume and how it has to sell you. Now you've got to learn to crush your interview. You've got to get more offers. You want to get an offer every time you interview, and the way to do that is through crushing it. And to crush the interview, it's really about communication. You've got to answer the 4 critical concerns that every hiring manager has, and then you've got to clarify that you have communicated what you needed to and ask for the next step. Now, these 2 things are communication issues, and good interviews come down to the quality of your communication. So let's hit on the first one, the 4 critical concerns that every hiring manager has. Do you understand the job? Can you do the job? Will you do the job? Will you pose a risk to his or her own continued employment? Now, these are all risk assessment questions. Hiring you is a risk for this manager. The first 2 questions speak to the knowledge, the ability, and the skill set. The third question is really either a work ethic or a focus question. You could have the knowledge, but if you aren't able to work, or you're unwilling to work, or you can't focus, it won't matter. Now, the will you pose a risk to his or her own continued employment is a really important question. Their reputation is on the line when they hire you. They need to know that you will not let them down. If they hire someone who doesn't get the job done, they get blamed and their job is at risk. Now, they won't ask you these things outright, but if you don't answer these questions in those interviews, then you will not get the offer. They won't hire you. The very best way to address these concerns and to answer these questions is to take a tool called the 30, 60, 90-day plan to your face-to-face interviews. A 30, 60, 90-day plan is a written outline of the tasks and the goals for the first 3 months on the job. Every job has critical tasks that must be accomplished in order to be successful. So the 30, 60, 90-day plan lists those out so the hiring manager knows that you know what those are. So the first days are usually focused on training or learning the systems or the culture. The next 30 days concentrates on getting more involved and doing things on your own. And the last 30 days shows how you plan to start making significant contributions to the company on your own, either by bringing in more work or starting some project or something else. The more specific that you can be to the job and to the company, the stronger the plan. For example, if you could talk about the training that they put their new employees through or the software that they use, you could put that in your plan. You might have guessed by now that putting this plan together takes a lot of research and time, and since you're bringing it to the interview, you have to do this before you even know if you're going to get the job. Every single second is worth it because this will impress the hiring manager and show that you understand the job even if you've never done it before. And it will show that you can do the job as you list out the specific task and how you're going to handle those, and that you will do the job. Just by putting this plan together, this is a vivid demonstration that you're someone who has the energy, the motivation, and willingness to do whatever it takes to be successful. This will speak to your work ethic in the strongest, most powerful way. And by putting the plan together, you eliminate every risk factor in the hiring manager's mind one by one. Look at how powerful these plans are. There was a gentleman named Derek. He had been out of work for 5 years. So if you have a big work gap, Derek did too. 5 years. His wife had died. He'd stayed home with his children. He was having a tough time getting interviews, and even when he was going to an interview for a job that he could have done with his eyes closed, it wasn't going well. So he got the Career Confidential 30, 60, 90-day plan, and he prepared it for his next interview. The interviewing manager said that he was the best prepared candidate he'd ever seen. They would be mad to let him go. They invited him back for another interview for a more senior role. Again, he took the 30, 60, 90-day plan for that, and he got the job. So look at what he's teaching us here. Here Derek is, he's interviewing for a job that he could have done with his eyes closed. He's qualified, but he performs so badly he doesn't even get the offer. Now, he doesn't go back to school. He doesn't go and get any more certifications, none of that. All he does is he thinks about how can he sell himself better in the interview. And he takes the Career Confidential 30, 60, 90-day plan to his next interview. And not only does he do well and he gets a job, which would have been enough, but he got a bigger job than the one he was interviewing for and more money. So not only did he get the job, but he got one with greater responsibility and more money. So his story shows us that the plan will help you communicate much more effectively with those hiring managers. It's a communication tool that says, hey, I've thought a lot about how I can be successful in this role, and I've put together an outline to talk it over with you. And as you go through this with them, you'll ask questions, you'll get input, and you'll discuss. And all of a sudden, something happens and your interview is completely different than any other interview this manager has had. You're not just answering questions and hoping that your answer sounds good. You're having a one-on-one conversation, and you've got rapport, and you're on the same team with the hiring manager talking about a mutual problem that you want to solve. And the conversation is helping him visualize you working for him, and that right there gets you a very long way toward getting the offer. Visualization is a powerful technique. Salespeople use it all the time. If you go to buy a car, what do? They don't talk to you about the car. They want to get you in the driver's seat. They want you to take it for a test drive. They want you to smell that new car smell. They're going to ask you questions about style and functionality and gas mileage, and they're going to talk up the points that most matter to you. When you discuss your plan with the hiring manager, you're going to do the same. Help him take you for a test drive and visualize you in the job. So this brings me to another poll question. Carl, if you could put it up there for us. I want to know, because this 30, 60, 90-day plan may seem a little different to you, do you think that if you brought a detailed, comprehensive 30, 60, 90-day plan to your interviews, would you get more offers? 4 answers. You can say yes, but I don't know how to put one of those together. Yes, but I don't know how to present the plan in the interview. Yes, and I'm bringing it to interviews now. Or no, I do not think the plan will work. Again, click the vote button so that we'll get your answer in a moment. Carl will give me the percentages, and I'll share that with you as an audience. Now, I learned a big lesson about these 30, 60, 90-day plans a couple years ago. I sent a candidate to an interview in Southern California, and I thought for sure we were going to get the offer with my client. I knew the client. I knew all the candidates. My candidate was the strongest candidate of the group. I thought we had it in the bag. But then the manager called and said they were going with another candidate. The competition, the competitive candidate had brought a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and mine had not. And her inferior competition was able to effectively communicate her value. My candidate did not get the job. So this is why every one of you must take a 30, 60, 90-day plan to your first face-to-face interview, or you run the risk of another candidate, an inferior candidate, out communicating you and getting the job. Carl, what do the folks think? Do they think if they brought a 30, 60, 90-day plan to the interview, they'd get more offers? 52%, yes, but I don't know how to put one together. 39%, yes, but I'm not sure how to present it. 5%, yes, and I'm already bringing them to interviews. Woohoo! I love you. Way to go. That is going to work for you. Congratulations to that 5%. 4% don't think the plan will work. So the good news is 91% of you have an opportunity to take your interviews from B and C level to an A game immediately by getting the Career Confidential 30, 60, 90-day plan and taking it to your next face-to-face, and that's going to get you more offers. Now, when you bring the plan, the hiring manager is going to get an up-close look at your critical thinking skills, your knowledge, your drive, your energy, your enthusiasm for the job. And those are things that don't fit on a resume, but they can really have a major impact on whether or not you get the offer. And the questions that you ask while you're discussing the plan are going to help you clarify that you are communicating well and that you're communicating what you need to in order to get the job. You say, I thought I would get this training. Is that right? I thought if I tackled this first, it would make it easier to do X later. Do you agree? Does this make sense, or do you want me to elaborate further? Am I on the same page as what you were thinking? Do I have this right? See, these answers, the answers that you're going to get to these kinds of questions are going to give you big, giant clues about what that hiring manager is most interested in. And if they're interested in X, you don't want to talk about Y, you want to talk about X. That's the kind of valuable information that comes out of this conversation, and your interview performance will be outstanding because of it. Now, the very best question that you can ask, because you brought your 30, 60, 90-day plan, and this is very, very strong, is you say, Mr. Manager, Miss Manager, if I were to do all of the things that I have outlined here on this plan, Do you agree that I would be wildly successful in this job? Now, this question is a game changer. It will actually boost your chances of getting the job by about 30 to 40%. And if they say yes, you'll know you've done well in the interview. If they say no, you can address the objection there before you leave. I've seen candidates save job offers they wouldn't have gotten by asking that question. So, brings me to another poll question. I'll have Carl put it up again in the polls tab. Would you like to receive specific training on how to make that 30, 60, 90-day plan that includes my coaching and my personal review of your finished plan? You can say yes, and the training and review will make my plan much better. No, I can do it by myself and do not need you to review my plan. Or no, I do not think the 30, 60, 90-day plans will work. And then click the vote button, and in a moment I'll get Carl to give us the results. Now, I'll tell you that the quality and the construction of the plan really matters. Sometimes I'll have someone say to me, you know, I took a 30, 60, 90-day plan to my interview and I didn't get a job offer. And I'll say, well, did you take the Career Confidential plan? And they'll say no. And so I'll say, well, why don't you send me your plan and let me take a look at it? And usually there are two ways that this goes. The plan is either very, very short, like less than 25 lines, maybe only one page, and it almost would be a detriment to the person who presented it because it doesn't show much thoughtfulness. Or the person will have started out thinking about how they were going to put a 30, 60, 90-day plan together, but what will end up is they'll have a 10-page book on why you should hire me. But you see, they don't want to know why you should hire me from your perspective. They want to know, how are you going to solve my problem? How are you going to make this job work? How are you going to tackle it? And that's what a 30, 60, 90-day plan does for you. So see, when you do these other two things, it doesn't work. In my opinion, you can't take a chance of going to the interview without the very best plan that you can get your hands on because of how powerful it is and what it's going to do for you today and in the future. You see, with the expert review of it, you're going to know for sure you've got a powerful document to present. And I review plans from job seekers just like I review resumes, and it really makes a difference. You know, sometimes you need someone to look at what you're doing, someone who has an outside perspective but insider knowledge. A quick check by me could be what will get you the very best job of your life. And so that's why it's very important to think about this. Carl, can you give us the results from the plan? Would they like to have specific training on how to make a 30, 60, 90-day plan that includes the templates, the coaching, the samples, and my personal review of their plan? So 83% are saying yes. 14% are saying I can do it on my own and don't need your review. That's fantastic, but please pay attention to what I just told you were the biggest issues, right? And 3% are saying, hey, I don't think the plans will work. So I'm going to tell you guys how you can get all of this training plus those plans, but let's just talk about this a little bit further. Pete Carr was an individual that came to us. He had 30 years of experience. He was getting interviews, but he wasn't getting an offer. He took the plan to his last interview. Not only did he get the offer, but they hired him for a job that was a level above the one that he was interviewing for. So look what the plan did for him. It took him from being, I'm not getting an offer, to I'm getting an offer better than the one I was interviewing for. Jesse put the plan together, felt like the undefeated champion of the world, said that confidence really helped him. He also got a higher position with a higher salary. And Derek, we talked about him. He had been out of work for 5 years because his wife had died, right? He was getting interviews, but he wasn't getting offers. His plan was so impressive that they created a position for him. And we had a college graduate who was having a hard time because he couldn't show any past experience. He put together the plan. The company adopted his plan as the standard training program for all new hires in his area. These plans are that impressive. They will elevate your game. They will elevate your interview conversation. They're going to elevate you as a candidate. It's going to boost your negotiation power and get you a higher salary, and this will affect all of your future raises and promotions. This one action right here will affect your financial future for the rest of your life. Job seekers from all kinds of career fields use these plans. We see them use them in sales and manufacturing, operations, nursing. I'm going to give you guys a moment to look at this slide. I'm going to get a drink of water here. Hold on. Okay. So if you're looking at the slide, you can see it's all over the place. People have used it in nursing, in pharmacy, logistics, lab, healthcare, retail, legal. We even had someone get a job at Disney World using this. All white-collar jobs, this plan will help you get more offers. And the plan works for people at all levels. I told you about the new graduate, but we've had folks, individual contributors, accountants, uh, finance managers, technology folks, IT directors, managers of any of those groups, executives, directors, even C-level. No matter what field you're in, having this plan for success will help you show your value to the hiring manager and make it an easy decision to hire you. Now, see, when hiring managers don't want a coin toss when they try to decide who to hire, they really want a clear winner. I want you to think about if you had a twin, okay? And you and your twin are going to go to interview for the same job. You look just the same, just like your twin. Your resumes are just the same. You went to the same schools. You've got the same experiences on your resume. But when you go to your interview, you bring a well-developed 30, 60, 90-day plan that outlines how you'll do this job. And it displays your critical thinking skills and your knowledge and your drive and your energy. And because of the research that you did and the knowledge that you gained when you put the plan together, you and the hiring manager have a deeper conversation. It's almost shocking how much stronger your conversation is and how different it is than other interviews. And then I want you to imagine and by the way, you've got to close at the end of your interview. So you say, Mr. Manager, based on the plan that I just presented to you, if I were to do all these things, can you see me being successful in the job? What's he going to say to you? And then I want you to imagine you leave the interview and then your twin walks in. But your twin doesn't come with a 30, 60, 90-day plan. He or she is empty-handed. Who do you think will be the most impressive candidate? Who do you think will get the job offer? To show the hiring manager that you are the clear winner, you must do the things we've talked about here today. You've got to turn your resume into a marketing document instead of a job history. Use the objectives, the bullet points, and quantify. You've got to stop applying for jobs, which gets you in front of human resources. And I want you to go straight to the hiring manager because this is the power. This is the person who has the power to hire you. I think, let's see, 82% of you guys, is that how many? Let's see, 98%, sorry, let me look at the right script. 98% of you guys said that you knew if you contacted 100 plus hiring managers, you'd have more interviews. And then when you get interviews, I need you to answer those questions that they have and communicate more effectively than you ever have by bringing the 30, 60, 90-day plan to that interview. Now, all of this is about how to sell yourself for the job. The job search is a sales process. You are the product. You also happen to be your own sales rep, and your customer is the hiring manager. And your job is to show them your value and make them want to choose you. Now, the normal process of where you apply for a job keeps you from your customer. They don't even see your resume. You can't even make a sale. You're not even talking to them. And they are the person who understands the job, has a problem that needs to be solved, and by the way, has the money in their pocket to pay you. This strategy that I'm showing you is a fundamental change in approaching your job search. It's very different than probably anything you've ever done before. But when job seekers get this concept and put this strategy into place, they go from struggling, no interviews, and discouraged to getting interviews they're excited about and job offers that they are going to love within weeks. Now, I told you I was going to give you a chance at some additional training, and here it is. Based on what you've learned here today, if you know that you need help with these areas of your job search, I've put together tools and training that will help get this done. Not everyone has the time to try to figure this stuff out on their own, so if you know you need help and you need to get this job immediately, here's how. Remember I told you 50%, maybe 80% of the jobs aren't advertised? Those are the hidden jobs. The only way to get in front of those jobs is to get in front of the hiring manager. This is a very easy concept to get, very difficult to execute. So I've put together a tool, a system that practically does it for you. It's called the Hidden Jobs Finder. It's a comprehensive, foolproof system that will uncover hidden jobs and put you in the front of the line for them. It helps you find and contact hundreds of hiring managers with clear, detailed, step-by-step instructions anyone can follow. It takes all of the guesswork out of this process, and it keeps you from making mistakes that set you back. Thousands of job seekers have used this tool, and they tell me that it's helped them get great jobs they didn't even know existed, and it helped them get interviewed for those jobs. Now, I personally developed this tool to help job seekers find and contact hundreds of hiring managers quickly and easily using Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Boolean searches, and telephone sourcing. So if you want a truly comprehensive job search that leaves no stone unturned, this is the way to get this done. You can use all of these methods. Each one has a very simple, easy tutorial. It's the easiest way possible for you to find the names and email addresses of hiring managers fast. Now, I've taught this method of finding and contacting hiring managers for several years now, and job seekers from all kinds of career fields come back to me and say things like, I got 3 interviews in 3 weeks. Or this helped me get more interviews than I'd gotten in a year of job searching. The Hidden Jobs Finder gets outstanding results, and it will for you. Anyone can follow the system and be very successful. Let me show you a couple examples of how this works. Here's a search where I'm looking for IT sales managers on LinkedIn, more than 3,000. And here I looked for directors of operations, over 1,000 of those. I used a special Google search string to find accounting managers only in the Washington, D.C. area, more than 1,400 in this. Google is really great at getting specific. Here I used a Boolean search technique, and I looked only for regional sales managers, only in Chicago and only in medical. And if you need to find someone, like let's say that you need to find VPs, here I used one, say if you're an administrative assistant or an office manager, you would want to be speaking to VPs. Here I looked for VPs of technology, and I found over 3,000, and only in New Jersey. And this one found accounting managers, but only on Facebook, so that I could message them through Facebook, more than 1,700. Now these are easy to follow instructions for finding them, but remember there were a large amount of you guys who were very concerned about what to say to them. So I've put together easy to follow instructions for what to say. You get phone scripts and email messages that are proven statistically to get the correct response from the hiring manager. You can customize these so they sound like you and have your personality, but they will be fresh, energetic, positive selling messages in minutes with no muss, no fuss, no stress. These messages will improve all of your communications with hiring managers through your cover letters, your emails, your follow-ups, everything. With the Hidden Jobs Finder, you will never hit a dead end in your job search again. And I want you to think about this. You can use this system anytime you need to find a new job for the rest of your life. So if you got downsized, or if you find that you don't like this job that you have, or you don't want to relocate, or your company's unstable, you'll have the tool that you need to find a new job quick. This is your ticket to career freedom. Now, how much is career freedom worth for the rest of your life? If you're not looking that far ahead, just how much is it worth to find a great job now? In the future, if you get laid off, you don't like your job, you'll be able to use the Hidden Jobs Finder and start finding a great opportunity. But for today, the Hidden Jobs Finder is going to guarantee you a job in interviews, and it's only $197. So with the Hidden Jobs Finder, it's only $197. You can have as many interviews as you want to go after. Remember, when I ask you if you contacted 100 plus hiring managers, would you have more interviews? 98%, almost every one of you said you would. This is the way to get interviews. All of you need more interviews. You need 5 to 10 interviews to know that you're going to get an offer. Now, because you're in this webinar here today, I have a very special deal for you. I have 3 very special bonuses. Now, you can click on the link in the chat box, and also, and I'm just checking it to make sure it's working for me as well, also in the pop-ins tab, just click the add to cart button and you can learn more about this Hidden Jobs Finder and the special 3 bonuses that I have for you. These are very important. Before I start though, I want to make sure you know everything that we sell at Career Confidential has a 1-year, 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, we will give you 100% of your money back. That is how much we know what this will do for you and how much we guarantee your success. So let me talk to you about the 3 bonuses because they're big. Number 1, my Extreme Resume Makeover Kit. 97% of you said that if your resume grabbed the attention, you'd get more interviews. 82% said that you'd like to have all of the training plus the templates and the samples, and you wanted me to review your resume. This is how you get that done with the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit. It comes with templates, samples, my coaching. You're going to write a winning resume from start to finish, and I'm going to help you help your resume stand out. We'll be able to smooth over anything awkward, and you'll be able to get the whole thing done in about an hour, which is going to save you a lot of time and frustration, and then I will personally review your resume for you. When you're done, you email it to me. I'll go over it. I'll let you know if there's something that you can improve. You'll know that you have a strong resume that's marketing you and getting you interviews. Now, we normally sell this for $74 on our website, but for today, it is free for you with the templates, the samples, the coaching, and the review as bonus number 1. Bonus number 2 is my LinkedIn profile tutorial. If you don't have a profile on LinkedIn, you must get one. Even if you have one, if it's not attracting the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, it's not working for you. My tutorial will help you craft your profile so that you will get called and get interviews this way as well. Now, we normally sell this for $17 every day, but it will be free to you as our second bonus. Now, I know you're going to get interviews, you're going to want to get offers. The way to get that is through the 30, 60, 90-day plan, which is bonus number 3. And when I asked you guys if you thought that would get you more offers, almost 100% said yes, you did. And that you would like more training. 80-some% of you said that you would like to have more training on that. This is it. You're going to get my template, my step-by-step how-to kit, detailed instructions on what to find and where to find it. And then I'm going to show you, many of you were very worried about how to bring it up. I'll teach you how to bring it up in the interview. I'll tell you how to know when it's the right time. I'll tell you what to say when you bring it up and how to respond to their questions, and your confidence is going to skyrocket. I've been using this plan with thousands of candidates, and it is proven to impress hiring managers in interviews. No mistakes. And you will have the fill-in-the-blank template, the sample plans, even PowerPoint templates if you need a flashier presentation. And just like the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit, I'm going to review it for free for you before you go to an interview. You just email it to me. I'll look it over, give you feedback, so that you know you have a plan that's going to make it an easy decision to hire you. Now, let me show you what a couple people have said who've used this. It speaks so strongly to it. Patrice was actually looking at a job where others had more experience. She edged out other candidates with more experience than she had. It's priceless. And I told you about Jesse feeling like the undefeated champion of the world. He was offered a different position, way more than he was asking for, plus benefits with an annual salary review. Imagine feeling that good when you came out of the interview. Now, you may not have thought of investing in training for your job search, but if you had a pest problem, you'd call an exterminator. And if you had an accounting problem, like tax problem, you'd call an accountant. If your car wouldn't start or had a funny noise, you'd call a mechanic. And it does cost money, but it either saves or makes you much more money in the long run. The Hidden Jobs Finder and these 3 bonuses are the same idea, but for your job search and career. This is your chance to have an expert look under the hood, solve the problem, and get you on the road to job search success, just like Derek, Patrice, Jesse, Pete, and thousands of other job seekers. Now, you may say, Peggy, I can absolutely see how these tools will help, but I'm out of a job and I can't afford the $197. But remember, I told you that the opportunity that you have here is so incredibly big that you need to take every opportunity you can to take advantage of it, even if it feels uncomfortable. A small investment in yourself now will pay off big in financial and personal gain for you in the future, just like it did when you went to college or you got a new skill set. This training will change your life. Remember, if you shave just 4 weeks off your job search, there's a lot of money you can put in your pocket. A lot more money than what you have to pay to get the Hidden Jobs Finder, plus the 3 bonuses that we're giving you. If you usually make $30,000 a year and you get a job just 1 month sooner, that's going to be $2,500 in your pocket, and the numbers just go up from there. And remember, most people who use this strategy get a job in a month or 2 at most. Now, there is a catch. This is only until to midnight tonight that you can get the Hidden Jobs Finder with the 3 bonuses. This exclusive offer is only for you guys, only until midnight Eastern Time tonight. After that, the bonuses will be gone. You don't have to buy. I've spent an hour telling you what to do, but you may need reinforcement. You may need to know how to do it or how to say it or what to do, and this is available for you. You get the Hidden Jobs Finder. We'll go over this one more time, and then we're going to get to the live Q&A, guys. So, until midnight tonight, the Hidden Jobs Finder for $197. You also get the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit with my review, normally sells for $74. The LinkedIn Profile Tutorial normally sells for $17. The 30, 60, 90-day plan normally sells for $97. If you bought all these separately, it would be $385. But until midnight, you can get the entire $385 value for only $197. So this saves you $188, which means that you get it almost half price. The price is only available with the link that I'm providing to you here on the screen, in the chat, and in the pop-ins tab. And at midnight, the bonuses go away. So just to be clear, $197, you get the Hidden Jobs Finder so that you can find and contact hiring managers, and you'll have the scripts to what to say and what to email. You'll have the Extreme Resume Makeover Kit and my personal review, the LinkedIn Profile Tutorial, the 30, 60, 90-day plan that is proven to get offers, and a personal review of my plan, of your plan by me, and a full 100% money-back guarantee. So this is a wonderful opportunity. All you have to do is click on the Add to Cart button on the right-hand side of your screen in the Pop-ins tab. You can pay for the purchase and get started. You'll have instant access to everything. You could be contacting hiring managers tomorrow. There's no shipping charges. It's all delivered electronically. You have instant access through your login credentials with a login and password. Now, if you see that this will absolutely get you a job and put money in your pocket, and you know you need a little help with this, get out your credit card. We take MasterCard, Visa, or Discover. We're a completely secure website. Click the Add to Cart button. It's going to take you to where you fill out all your information. Now, if you want to call into the office, we are a small office, so you may have to leave a message, and we'll call you back this afternoon for sure, because I can hear the phones ringing right now. But the number in the United States is 800-691-2562. In the United States, again, 800-691-2562. Outside the United States, you can call 972-382-3139. Now, your tools will be available to you in a membership section of the website. You'll log in there with your credentials, the username and password. You can start watching the training videos, printing out the templates, downloading the handouts. I set it up this way so that you would have access to your tools and training from any internet-connected computer in the world. You don't have to pay for or wait for shipping. You can get your tools immediately. So let's get you guys a job quick. All of this training does exactly what I'm telling you it will do. You will have interviews and offers within weeks. There's no way for you to understand what an amazing difference this will make for you until you try it and see for yourself. Now remember, we said that we were going to draw for the 10-person, 1-hour group coaching call with me. If you're on this call now, you're eligible for that. We will send an email to the winners in just a few hours notifying you that you've won and giving you all the details for the call. Now, I'd like to congratulate you in advance and say that I'm looking forward to speaking with you. If you don't win and you're disappointed because you know you need some personalized advice, I'd like to encourage you to either consider personal one-on-one coaching with me. You can call my office or email my office at peggy@careerconfidential.com and let us know if you think that that's something that you need. Or another way to get very, very personal help is to go and join our Total Access Club. Now, this is a group coaching club that meets twice a month. We're going to meet on Thursday of this week. It is live. We have a short little presentation that we give on a job search relevant topic, and then we answer every question from everybody that's in the club. And Carl records those and archives those and has made more than 100 sessions available to you through that group coaching call, so you could really steep yourself in the vernacular of the job search. So we are to the point now where it's a live Q&A, guys. So I'm going to get a drink of water, put on my webcam, and start answering your questions right now. Okay, turning on the webcam. You guys, hopefully you can see me. Hi, how are you doing? And I have questions. All right, guys, here we go. Again, hello, welcome to everybody. I'm so glad you guys stayed. A lot of people still here in the webinar, right? Okay. Thomas says, would you bring the 30, 60, 90 day to the first interview or the second interview? Thomas, you got to take this thing to your first face-to-face interview. You can't wait for the second one. Before 2008, I always waited for the second interview, but what I saw was people were missing opportunities to move forward in the job interview process because they weren't able to communicate their value in that first interview. So you need to bring it to your first face-to-face interview, okay, Thomas? Hope that helps. Someone said, what happens when the majority of candidates bring one of these to the interview? Has not happened. We have never had a candidate come and say that the majority of the candidates brought these. Most people do not know how to use these. They don't know how to put them together. They're uncomfortable with presenting them, and they don't have the confidence. They haven't listened to us. They don't understand what they're trying to do. You're never going to see a lot of people bringing these. It is difficult, but that's why when you bring it, you're going to get an offer. So I don't want you to back down on that. Okay, so we got an individual here who says arts advertising field. Typically, they don't have any idea of what the job is. Very frustrated. Well, that's why the plan might be really, really helpful for you, because you guys could go through and talk about the plan together in the interview, and they're going to feel so much more confident with you, because if they don't know what the job is, they're having a hard time figuring out who to hire too. When you go through this plan with them and kind of talk with them about what they're trying to achieve, what their goals are, how you think that that would happen, that's going to set you apart as a stellar candidate. So please take that 30, 60, 90-day plan, okay? Someone said, do you provide recruiting headhunting services for job seekers as well? You know, I am a third-party contingency recruiter hired by employers. So I never recruit for a job seeker. So I won't go and find a job for you, although the Hidden Jobs Finder is how I'm helping you to find those jobs, because if you can find your hiring managers, I know you'll get interviews. So by asking this question, I know that you need help in your job search. You need to get this Hidden Jobs Finder, because if you think that those services would help you, this will help you get interviews and get offers, and many of them. Amelia says, I believe you can deduct your taxes in the U.S. for job seekers that are unemployed. Amelia, I am not an accountant, and I'm not very good at that. I actually do use an accountant, and I actually use a mechanic, and I use an exterminator, because I'm not good at those three things, and they are better at that. So I can't give advice on this, although I do believe there is something in there for you to help you do that. Okay, Sarah says, is it okay to reach out to multiple hiring managers within the same company? Sarah, I love the way you're thinking. Yes, it is. And in fact, you might do that. If you have a really big company, maybe you want to reach out to 4 or 5 of them. If it's smaller, reach out to 2 or 3 of them. But Sarah, absolutely, you must reach out to more than 100 hiring managers, and with a proven message that gets the response that you need. And that's how come the Hidden Jobs Finder is so important. Remember, 58% of you said, I don't know how to find them, but like 30% said, I don't know what to say to them. And what I'll tell you is, we put together the messages because sometimes the messages that you're sending are sabotaging you. They have weak language in them, or they're not asking for a solid step or the appropriate step. And that's why you need the Hidden Jobs Finder for finding the managers, but then for knowing what to communicate to them. I'm about to get to one more question, but I got to tell you guys an experience. I had a VP of finance from Canada contacted me last week. She had gotten an interview and an offer from a company, great job, and she said that they told her that her communication was so strong and so positive that that's what really separated her from all of the other candidates. And she told me that what separated her from all of the other candidates was the messaging appendix in the Hidden Jobs Finder, because she had never been as strong in her communication as she was using those messages. So the messages are really strong and will set you apart in your job search. Okay, so somebody says, hey, how do you bring this up in a group interview or in a panel interview? It's difficult to do this in a panel or group interview. You have to be quite a very good verbal communicator and a presenter to do that. What I really want you to do is get one-on-one time with the hiring manager to go over the plan with them. Ask for that meeting, okay? This is the way you can ask for an interview, and it won't seem as hard, right? Another person says, how do you get enough information on the job and the task to put the plan together? Well, that's a problem, and on your own, you might not be able to do that. That's why you need our Career Confidential plan, because it's hard to think about all those things, but we have done that because we have spent thousands of hours on this plan and getting it where it's appropriate and correct, and so that you guys can use it and it'll help jog your mind about different things. That's why you got to have the plan, because it's hard to find that information, and it's going to take you a long time to do this from the beginning. But with our plan, you'll be able to do it very, very quickly, and it will be very impressive for the hiring manager. Someone said, should the objective statement, so back to the objective statement, should it be a one sentence or a paragraph? How do you know? Well, you never want to have a paragraph, and this is to DJ. You never want to have a paragraph, okay? So it should be 1 or 2 sentences, a very brief headline that says, boom, think about me like this, right? That's what's important. Dan says, I had a computer program, lost the link at the beginning of the webinar for the gift. Can you send it again, please? Dan, I'll ask them to put the link in the chat for you, because we're not going to change out the pop-ins tab right now because we want everybody to have access to the Hidden Jobs Finder. But you can get that link through the chat. We'll probably put it in there, or you can email my office and ask for it, and we'll give it to you again that way, okay? All right, someone says, what do you do with the 30, 60, 90-day plan if you first have to go through an HR screen, phone, or Skype? Well, you can't use the plan in that screen, but what would be important for you to have there is go to our blog and read all about phone interviews. On Amazon, we have ebooks. On Amazon, we have one on the phone interview that will help you prepare for that. So I want to encourage you to get that. I also want you to encourage you to get our 101 interview questions ebook that's on Amazon. I believe it's we have one that's at 99 cents and one that's at $1.99. So you can actually get 202 interview questions there for you. Okay, Alejandro. Hola, Alejandro, how are you? Someone says, let's guess I know the hiring manager. I have his name and his email. How can I approach him without harassing him? Well, Alejandro, this is why you need to get the Hidden Jobs Finder, because our messages are very positive. They're proven to get a positive response from the hiring manager. You won't be harassing him. By the way, if you're really wonderful at what you do, then he would be lucky to have you harassing him, because he needs to hire good people to do his job well and to make his company thrive. So you won't be harassing him, I promise. Someone said, do you recommend using headhunters in conjunction with your techniques? I do, if you're what I call a bluefin tuna. Bluefin tuna are people who typically don't have big gaps on their resume, so they've been employed. They're usually someone who has a very specific skill set or knowledge base, or know people very specific, so they're very uniquely interesting to the hiring managers. See, when a headhunter places you at a company, they send a big check, a fee to that company that the company has to pay. Companies don't believe that they should pay big fees for people that aren't bluefin tuna special. And a lot of you guys are catfish. Nothing wrong with catfish. I love catfish. But the company perceives they could have found you anyway, so a recruiter won't work as well for you. So if you're having trouble figuring out if you're a bluefin tuna or not, again, that's another great book that we have on Amazon.com, and it's about how to work effectively with recruiters, and that'll help you figure out whether or not you're a bluefin tuna. By the way, you may not be a bluefin tuna today, but you could be a bluefin tuna in 6 months if you got some special experience at this new job or developed a special relationship or certification, right? All right, lots of questions. I love this. What's your opinion on recruiting firms that charge job seekers? You know, I personally have never charged a job seeker to recruit or to recruit them. I always charge the hiring company. My opinion is I don't see a lot of that working very well, but that is your choice. If it were me, I would want to try to contact hiring managers directly, the way that I've described in this strategy that I've given you with the Hidden Jobs Finder, because I know then you'll get interviews and you'll get offers. If you get the Hidden Jobs Finder and you send your resume to me and you're not sure if you're a bluefin tuna, go ahead and just put a note in there. When you get the Hidden Jobs Finder, you send me your resume, put a note in your email that says, am I a bluefin tuna or not, Peggy? And I'll tell you. I can look at your resume and tell you whether you're a bluefin tuna, and then you'll know whether you need to be approaching those executive and third-party recruiters. Should we contact the hiring manager's manager? Yes. You want to contact anybody who could be above you in this company. So if I'm in accounting, I want to go, accounting manager, director of accounting, maybe VP of accounting, senior VP of accounting, CFO, all the way up to CEO. So you want to go up the chain to anybody that you can to let them know about you so that they know about you and your skill set. Somewhere around you, there's a hiring manager who's got their head in their hands because they need some specific skill set and they don't even know that you're available because you're going into the online applicant tracking system. They don't even see you. That's why you've got to message them aggressively and directly with the Hidden Jobs Finder. Okay, if the hiring manager asks you what your salary requirements are, how do you answer that question? That's a tough one, right? I want you to say, my requirements are commensurate with the responsibilities of the job, or what's the range that you have for this job, or I'm looking for a great job first, and then based on it being a fit for me, I know that we'll be able to figure out a situation that will work for both of us financially. And again, this might be something where you need to go and look on our website. We have a product for salary negotiation that is superior to anything I've ever seen out there because it's got Jack Chapman's ebook on how to negotiate plus an hour and a half of a webinar between him and I that really help you solidify how to think about your salary and how to talk about it. And it will help you. His book is called How to Make $1,000 a Minute Salary Negotiations. I guarantee if you read the book, you'll make $1,000 more. And we have that ebook with our coaching and audio as well available to you on our website at careerconfidential.com. Charity, can you give them the link to the Job Search Tools page? If you go to the Job Search Tools page, you'll see all of these products that we talked to you about and what their prices are every day and what a great opportunity this is for you guys that are on this webinar. Okay, someone wants to know, can we only purchase the messaging appendix to the hiring manager? No, we sell those as a bundle, and it will be worth it to you, I promise. But if you want to call into my office and talk to them, maybe if you don't need some of those other bonuses, maybe we can figure out a situation that will work for you. Okay, how can the plan help a candidate who's been self-employed for 16 years and now wants to enter the job market as a sales rep? Well, because they're going to wonder if you really understand what you need to do in that job, and so you need the plan to help set yourself apart from other people. And I want you to remember the story about Derek and also Pete and also Jesse. See, those three individuals, what's unique to them is they didn't change anything about themselves. They weren't doing well in interviews. They didn't change anything about themselves except for their ability to communicate their value through the 30, 60, 90-day plan. And that's what's so powerful about that. Swanzetta says, what do you do if you're told that you can only apply for the job via email or the company website, no phone calls? Well, Swanzetta, they're all going to tell you that because they want you to do what they need, what's best for them. But that's not what's best for you. So I don't care what they tell you. They're not hiring you. Unless they're writing you a check, they don't get to tell you what to do. And I want you to remember, before you go to an interview, you spend hours getting ready for it. You spend an hour getting there. You spend a couple hours in the interview. And then you spend another hour getting home and then sending them a thank you note. You deserve to have the confidence to ask them how you did in that interview. And just like with Swanzetta, you also should have confidence to contact those hiring managers directly. Don't worry about what they tell you as far as the company, what they tell you to do, because what you're doing now isn't working. 84% of you don't have multiple interviews. So whatever the company's telling you to do now, it's not working for you. So I want you to forget about that. I want you to remember what Einstein said. If you do the same thing over and over again but expect a different result, that's insanity. It's not going to work. But if you start contacting hiring managers directly, okay, you'll get interviews and you'll have offers within a month or two at most. That is what happens. Someone else says, what do you think about age discrimination? How much is their chance to get hired? I don't understand that last part about the question, but what I'll do is talk to you about age discrimination. It does exist. If you are over 45, you should quit applying online, because they have set boundaries in their online application systems where you never show up, okay? If you don't have experience and they're saying they want experience and you're in the online application, you're not getting pulled up. If you live in a different area, even though you might relocate yourself, they're only going to look at candidates in that area. That's why you've got to go directly to hiring managers. That's why the online application doesn't work at all. It doesn't work. You've got to go directly to hiring managers, and you've got to have a winning language, strong, powerful, positive language when you talk to hiring managers. Margot, hi Margot, how are you doing? Given the current job market, is it difficult to market yourself for a different career? Well, Margot, it's always difficult to market yourself, but what better time is there than now? What better day than today? You know, I actually had someone who was pretty important to me professionally die this weekend, an individual that was the CEO of a company that I worked for. And I would just say to you that life is short and you need to do whatever it requires for you to have the success that you want. And I would tell you that if that individual was sitting here, he would say to you, go for it, buckle up, advertise yourself, do what Peggy's telling you, get in front of hiring managers, never accept no, take that 30, 60, 90-day plan, expect success. That's what he would say, and that's what I'm saying to you. Carolyn, as a hiring manager, if I say don't call and someone calls me, it tells me you can't follow simple instructions. Carolyn, are you getting hired the way that you're doing it now? The answer is no. Do people get hired every day who approach hiring managers directly? The answer is yes. You need to set aside what you're concerned about. Those hiring managers don't think that you don't know that they don't want you to contact them. But you see, it's like with me. You know, I talked about hiring a gentleman named Jeff Voles earlier today. See, when I had his job open, Human Resources wasn't sending me any candidates. I had no candidates from Human Resources. Do you know how I ended up finding Jeff Voles, the guy that I hired for that job? I interviewed a guy that a recruiter gave me, and then when I was talking to that guy, I made him introduce me to his roommate. And that roommate was the guy I hired. Human Resources sent me less than 5 resumes during that entire search, and I guarantee there were people in our database at Chiron that would have been fantastic for that job. It doesn't work for you. Carolyn, forget about them. Get in front of the hiring manager and let them see how valuable you are and what you can do for them, okay? Thomas, your thoughts on contacting a former incumbent of a job that you're interested in, and to get his insights on the job and how to get hired. Thomas, I think that is a fantastic idea. You are thinking with your head now. I think that's a great idea. What's the worst thing that can happen? Maybe he tells them that you contacted him, but how bad is that? I mean, you're trying to learn more about the job, you're trying to get into the job, and by the way, he may have some great advice to you about how to get hired, or he may introduce you to someone, get you an interview and an offer just like that. So I love it. Way to go. Okay, now I've got one more question and then we're going to wrap up, guys. DJ says, would you still recommend contacting a manager about a position that you know you can do when the company's policy is that everyone has an undergraduate degree? And I'm assuming, DJ, you don't have an undergraduate degree. And I would absolutely say to you, do not apply online. They will never call you. That is a waste of your time, okay? And yes, go to the hiring manager. Let him decide how important that degree is. Sell yourself. Tell him what you can do for him. Let him decide if the degree is important. If you go through the applicant tracking system, a computer will decide, and they will never show you to anyone. All right, guys, that's it. We're about an hour and 20 minutes into this thing. I know that you guys are still here. It's great. I hope that this was a fantastic boost to your energy, your motivation, and your understanding of what you can do in the job search. Let me wrap up with a few things. I'm going to turn off my webcam here and finish up with some of our resources, and then we'll get going. Now, you don't have to get the Hidden Jobs Finder, but if you know what I'm telling you is true, and you can see how shaving weeks off of your job search would put money in your pocket, take advantage of the opportunity to have many interviews, multiple offers, and get to make a choice. Remember, you have the link there in the chat and in the pop-ins tab. If you want to know about more of our training webinars, go to our website, career.confidential.com/training-webinars. Also, if you want my personal coaching, send us an email. I'd like to have your coaching. I want to know more about your coaching. Call us. We'll set you up. And I want to encourage you, take advantage of the Total Access Coaching Club. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to steep yourself in the vernacular of the job search so that you can sell yourself for the job and in that job interview. Now, so we've gone through all the resources. I want to remind you, there's 3 things that are keeping you from getting interviews. Your cover letter isn't strong enough. With the Hidden Jobs Finder appendix, you'll have the strongest messaging you've ever had. Your resume isn't strong enough. Once you go through our Extreme Resume Makeover Kit and send me your resume, you're going to have the best resume you've ever had in your life representing you. And you've been spending all of your time applying online for jobs. I want you to stop applying online for jobs. Start contacting hiring managers. We show you exactly how to do that. This bundle of tools solves these three issues for you. It's going to get you all the interviews you want, and it's going to help you perform better than you've ever done in those interviews and get more offers than you've ever had. So I want to thank you for attending. I want to wish you the very best of luck, and I look forward to receiving an email from you telling me how this changed your life and about the opportunity and the offer that you got. Guys, I'm going to wish you the best. Now, when I turn off of this webinar, what's going to happen is Carl's going to redirect you over to another page where you can learn more about the Hidden Jobs Finder and these bonuses. So when I turn off my webinar, what's going to happen is Carl is going to try to redirect you over to the other webinar, over to the other page, sorry, where you can learn more about the Hidden Jobs Finder and about the 3 bonuses and what those can do for you. So I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful day. Don't hold back. Do everything that you can to have the opportunity that you deserve. Put yourself in front of someone who can hire you. You haven't been in front of them yet. You haven't even started your job search. Today is the first day of your job search, and you'll have interviews in less than a week or 2. I look forward to your email, guys. I want to wish you the best of luck. I'm going to wish you a great day, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Again, Carl's going to redirect you. If you have any questions, contact our office. Bye-bye, guys.